Very rarely does the media actually fact check nowadays. Of course, I'm talking about the mainstream media outlets, CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, the nightly news, and people like that. So I want to go ahead and do that. I want to fact check here a little bit. So let's go back and look at predictions made by prominent people, media figures, and politicians. And we're going to try to go ahead and pick up the slack of the mainstream media here to show you what they really should be doing. So Think Progress has an article out discussing 4 things that were supposed to happen by 2016 because Obama was reelected, and of course how terribly off those predictions were. So first, we go to Senator Mike Lee of Utah, who gave a speech on the Senate floor in 2012 saying, quote, "If Obama was reelected, gas would cost $6 per gallon by the start of 2015. Lee said that gas prices would rise 5 cents for every month Obama was in office, ultimately reaching $6.60 per gallon. Newt Gingrich, running for the GOP nomination, predicted that if Obama was reelected, he would push gas to $10 a gallon. Gingrich said he would reduce gas prices dramatically by reversing Obama's energy policies. Gingrich flanked himself with campaign signs promising $2.50 gas if he was elected. Now, today, the average price of gas is $2. So not only were their predictions wrong, he actually did better than they said they would have done if they were in power. And understand that this is actually a much more complex debate and discussion because some would argue, and perhaps rightly, that we need to put a special tax on gas and on fossil fuels because we have to move towards renewable energy and green technology for the sake of the planet because of climate change and pollution and all these problems. So it's a more complex issue, don't get me wrong, but the bottom line is, they said it's going to be $6.60 a gallon. Why? I don't know, I just made it up, but that's what's going to happen if Obama's elected. And Gingrich was like, $10, but I'll save the day and make it $2.50. These are things they said, and they are factually incorrect. Isn't it hilarious that in any other area, if you make a shitty prediction, it comes up later? So I often think of sports. If people make shitty predictions in sports, you know, you can prod them, oh my God, you predicted that one horribly wrong. I mean, you know, you said that, whatever, the Sixers were going to be the best in the NBA this year. They're the worst. You're just a bad analyst. You're not good at this. But when it comes to politics, there's shh, where's the rug? Gotta brush it under. Come on. Don't talk about, you know, the Republicans being dead wrong, more so than Democrats. That's been proven by the PolitiFact study. Don't talk about that because if you bring that up, oh my God, people might say you have a liberal bias. No, but wait a second. If you're giving the facts, if you're giving information, if you're giving data, well, how is that a liberal bias? That's just reality. I mean, sorry if we happen to be right more often than you are. That doesn't mean you take the truth and you try to make the truth bipartisan and you try to make it 50-50, because that's a bias towards neutrality. And effectively, a bias towards neutrality is what? A conservative bias, because you're treating them with kid gloves and trying to find ways to make their comments true and correct. Meanwhile, you're not calling it how it is, which is to say the left is correct more often on issues like this. All right, so let me give you some more here. Romney pledged that if elected, he could bring the unemployment rate down to 6% by January 2017. Impressive. What's the unemployment rate today? 5%. So Obama beat what Romney said was his ideal scenario and what he was going to try to get. But it's okay, because on Fox News and Mitt Romney himself and other conservative politicians and pundits, they all came out and said, you know what, fair is fair. You know, we said it was going to be a shitty economy. It's not. So Obama, well done. They said that, right? Oh, that's right. They didn't say that. They just moved the goalpost to continue to attack him because they don't give a shit about objective reality. And this is a bigger problem, too. I mean, even when Obama does what they say they want to do, these are examples here, they still don't give him credit. So they can say, oh, we care about the debt and the deficit. That's what we care about. So Obama says, okay, he inherited a $1.4 trillion George W. Bush deficit, turned it into about a $400 billion deficit, so cut it tremendously. Have any people on the right come out and said, you know what, for all of his problems, and I don't agree with him on many things, on that issue, hey, thanks, Obama. We appreciate it. You know, you did better than the Republicans did. But George W. Bush ballooned the deficit. H.W. Bush, same thing. Reagan, big time ballooned the deficit. So, hey, thanks for doing something that we agree with. No. How about Obamacare, which is an individual mandate healthcare reform system, which keeps the private insurance companies intact? This is originally a right-wing position. The Heritage Foundation wrote policy papers about it. That's a right-wing think tank. Newt Gingrich and Chuck Grassley supported it. Richard Nixon proposed a version of it. So he gets that implemented. They say, hey, man, look, thanks. You didn't get a public option, which is a more liberal idea or a centrist idea. And you didn't get single payer. We don't like those ideas. You did our healthcare reform. We appreciate it. No. They just pretended that's socialism. But no, it's not. Single payer would be that. And he didn't push for that. So he did your ideas, and now all of a sudden you hate your ideas. It's so sad to watch this media climate because they actively do the opposite of informing you. They make you dumber. And people have studied this and found that people who watch Fox News actually know less about the world than people who watch no news. So that's empirically true to say that this is bullshit propaganda they pump into your head, and they never fact check to say, hey, by the way, the Republicans made a whole bunch of ridiculous false statements, and Obama actually surpassed their best expectations. All right, more. On Bloomberg TV, investor Mark Faber predicted that because of Obama's reelection, the stock market would drop at least 20%. Goddamn. So what happened? It's up 27%. Again, I'm waiting for that apology, dude. I can't hear you. I must have something in my ears here. I got to go clean them out. Then we get to our personal favorite, and we'll leave it at this one here. Rush Limbaugh. Oh, God. Rush Limbaugh prediction. Oh, this is going to be rich. Here's what he said, quote, "The country's economy is going to collapse if Obama is reelected." There's no if about this, and it's going to be ugly. It's going to be gut-wrenching, but it will happen. California is going to declare bankruptcy, and Obama would force states like Texas to bail them out. Side note, before I continue, California currently has a $4 billion budget surplus. He couldn't be more wrong about everything. He continues, "I know mathematics." You sure? "And I know economies. I know history. I know socialism, statism, Marxism. I know where it goes. I know what happens at the end of it. It could take a year or a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years." He predicted this 3 years and 2 months ago. So his longest term prediction, hey man, year and a half, 2 years, 3 years max. It's been 3 years and 2 months since his prediction. And what's the economy looking like? There's been 64 straight months of private sector job growth and 12.6 million jobs created under Obama. They're just wrong. I mean, there's no other way to put it. And again, don't get me wrong. Am I saying, hey, the country's perfect and these numbers, this is all you need to know? No, that's not true. Because we talk about income inequality, which is a huge problem. A lot of the job creation has been in low-wage sectors. That's a huge problem. So, you know, there's still major fights that we need to take on and we need to win. So I don't want to give you the wrong picture that it's all rosy and puppies and rainbows and stuff, because it's not. But the bottom line is, what they said would happen did not happen, and the economy run by Democrats is simply better than when it's run by Republicans. These are inconvenient facts, where if you bring it up, you're tarred as having a liberal bias, but in reality, what we're saying is just factually true.